when I was growing up, there was a lot of fear involved. Right. So I remember some of my earliest memories were watching them just beat the piss out of each other, really.
Yeah.
And me going and running and cowering in a corner somewhere, just hoping that somebody would come up to the house, because if we had a visitor, they would stop. I always said I'd never do that,
Yeah.
But here I am sick and I'm desperate,
Anything that'll make the sickness go away.
Yeah, the sickness, and not even just the sickness, to make the voices go away.
Sometimes I make mistakes in my life. Life goes on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, hey, I got wisdom from my papa. He ain't have a lot of money, but he taught me how to keep the perfect posture. So folding under pressure, that ain't something that I'm about to. Crabs in the barrel, I'm just trying to be a lobster. I hit my cousin, told him to call. It's been 12 years and I ain't heard from him at all. Had a little fallout over some money. Damn, ain't it funny how the smartest people be beefing like they some dummies? But I hope you doing swell now. Hope your family well now.
Welcome to the Primary Purpose Podcast with Pej. My name is Pej. I'm your host. This is actually the very first episode number 1. We talk about all different types of things. Originally, this was actually Pej's Recovery Corner. As you see, this is still the studio that we were originally filming in and recording in. I've got a very special guest today. His name is Kris Shuman. Kris is actually a podcaster too. What was your original? Welcome to the corner. I can still say it.
Yeah, right.
It ain't going to screw up the algorithm.
No, man. Thank you. And Paige, so happy to be here, man. Yeah. Thank you for getting our name right too. It's Kris with a K. I could hear it when you pronounced it. Yes. Really,
Kris.
That Kris. It's that very German sound, like Klaus,
Yeah.
So my last name is German too, but thank you, man. I appreciate you having me here. And radio, man, is so much fun, right? And my mom always told me when I was young, you have a face for radio. Yeah. So I'm in the perfect place.
Perfect. No, so there's a lot. I want to go over a lot of different things. Now that my podcast is changing, kind of like yours is, and we'll get to that part too with the new Shuman show that you've got coming out. For a long time, we're both men of recovery. We've both been sober for a little while, and for the longest time, it was a recovery podcast where we were primarily talking with people that were in recovery about mental health, alcoholism, but addiction, all those different things. And definitely that will be on my future episodes. But we want to think outside the box about, lots of things that we do as men in recovery and where we take it. And you've manifested. So you asked me before we even started, what do we want to do as far as a topic? And I believe manifestations would be a great topic for this particular podcast. Let's delve into your past, though.
Yeah.
I know you're from the South.
I am.
Okay.
Born and raised, Savannah, Georgia. Well, I tell everybody Savannah. Let's be fair, right? Because if I told you where I'm really from, you're going to ask me how to pronounce it. So I'm from Savannah, Georgia. I'm from a county called Effingham County, which is a little small county. Probably 50,000 people total in the whole county. And
everybody knows each other's business.
Oh, yeah. Well, most of the time. And you got certain family names that have been there for 150, 200 years,
Yeah.
I'm from a small town in Georgia, and born and raised there, and very proud of that. And I love Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, go Dogs.
I had never been to Georgia until I spoke out at some 12-step meeting last year in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it was at a time when it was still cold out here.
Yeah.
Even though California, really cold. But it was like 80 degrees there. This is like what was it, April or something like that.
Yeah. Like the seasons are like crazy ex-girlfriends. They come and go when they want to. So you never can count on anything to stay one way for too long. So the fall is real short and sweet, but out here, I do love. Man, like it sounds so cliche, right? But go to California for the weather.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why it's so expensive out here.
Yeah.
So growing up in Georgia, what was it like? Rough or a lot of siblings, good family?
No, I was a little toe-headed kid, man. We had a big family plot of land, 10 acres of land. My grandparents bought it right after World War II. They built their house, and then as the children grew up, they started giving them plots of land. So we all grew up together.
Yeah.
Food and partying and entertainment was always at grandma's house, everything we did. And more than not, it would have seemed like a normal childhood. When I look back on it now that I have a new set of glasses,
Yeah.
I can see that there was a lot of trauma involved. My parents were not alcoholic and drug addicts, right? But they used anger alcoholically.
Rageaholics.
Oh yeah, rageaholics for sure. And Both of them had these big red buttons that they kept on the center of their chest, and they know how to push each other's button real good. You know,
Yeah.
so that's something that they did. And you know, when I was growing up, there was a lot of fear involved. Right, so I remember some of my earliest memories were watching them like just beat the piss out of each other, really.
Yeah.
And me going and running and cowering in a corner somewhere, just hoping that somebody would come up to the house, because if we had a visitor, they would stop and act like nothing happened. You know.
Yeah.
Part of that whole cycle is, and it's all passed down. Like they didn't just decide one day to start doing that. That's all learned behavior, you know.
Yes.
But one of the things that was interesting is that, you know, if I went to my grandma's house, which was only less than an eighth of a mile walk on a dirt road, you know, if I went to her house and was crying or upset about it, they would say, hey, well, don't tell nobody, you know. So I developed this correlation that if you're going through something traumatic, you just keep it in and you know, be a man, you know,
hold it in.
And hold it in. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
So growing up in such a small town, I mean, 50,000 ain't much.
Maybe 50,000, maybe 100,000. I really never paid attention to the census data, but it's a small place and it's not much. Yeah. The town I'm actually from don't even have a post office. It's called Falkville.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up at. No post office, and if you blink, you'll pass it. You know?
Okay, it's that quick.
Yeah.
Did you have a rough childhood? Did you get into fights or anything like that?
No, I'll be honest with you. Maybe I hadn't gotten to the point yet where, you know, the clarity comes back, but a lot of it I remember, some of it I don't.
Yeah. Sometimes we block shit out.
Yeah, maybe. Nothing crazy happened in my childhood. I can tell you that with certainty. And I think more than not, you know, I was a child being raised by children.
Yeah.
You know, so like I don't have any ill will or hard feelings towards any of that. It's just what it was, you know, and it happened exactly how it needed to happen. And I went to school. I did normal school kid stuff. I had a lot of big parties. My parents showered me with gifts because that's how they were taught to, you know, receive love. So they were going to give love the same way. And so for a kid, you know, Santa Claus comes and you got a room, you know, a living room that's, you know, 10 by 10 or 12 by 12 foot living room in a single wide trailer that's full of He-Man and you know, viewfinder stuff and all kind of toys that we like.
Yeah.
I'm having a killer childhood.
That's right. It was a great childhood.
Yeah.
When did you first, you got into drugs, alcohol?
Yeah. So it's a weird thing, man. And if anybody's out there wondering about alcoholism, drugs, things like that, I can only share my experience with that. But my first beer was at 12 years old. Nothing more than the idea that we wanted to be like my cousin's parents. You know, every now and again, my parents would have a party, they'd drink a little bit, but they weren't alcoholics, you know?
Yeah.
But we snuck out to have this one beer. And now that I'm sober and now that I have a better understanding of what was going on, I just understand that even then at 12 years old, I was drinking fundamentally for a different reason than he was.
Yeah.
Right. We had these beers. We stole them out of the fridge. He's 3 years younger than me, and I went over to his house. We were going to meet at, like, let's say 11 o'clock at night, right? And I'm sitting there watching the fan blades go around, just chomping at the bit, ready to go do this. I feel excited, you know? And I go to his house and knock on the window. He's asleep. And so that's the first thing that's different. I'm sitting there waiting for it to happen. He's sleeping. He finally wakes up. We have these beers. I'm just sitting there down in mine. He takes a couple little sips and just pours the rest of it out. And I mean, as pissed as a 12-year-old could get, I got aggravated. Like, why are you pouring it out? We're supposed to be doing this. This is cool, you know? So fundamentally, that was my first time, man. But when you grow up in a small county, I don't know about everywhere. I can tell you about where I grew up. Drinking is just kind of like a thing.
It's a normal thing.
Yeah, you know, bonfires, drinking, mud bogging.
It's partying.
Yeah, like the little local country stores sell you booze if you're old enough to drive, basically.
It certainly kills boredom.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you're trying to have fun, make the best out of what you got,
yeah,
why not get drunk?
The first time I remember feeling the effect of alcohol, though, which has changed that word, the effect produced by, has changed quite a bit as I continue to just think about all that. But I went to this cake party, and I was in high school. I was 16, 17 years old. It was a party I was not invited to because I was not that kid that got invited to parties.
Yeah.
But I found out about it. So I just cruised over, and I was like, I'm going to be courageous here, and I'm going to go hang out with all these people that hate me because in my mind, nobody liked me.
Yeah.
You know? Even though I had like the color block Tommies on and shit from back in the day, and I had the Nike Airs, you know, and Air Max. I thought I was cool shit, but nobody liked me, right? go to this party.
This was just in your mind.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely.
That's in most of our minds.
It's a fantasy, man.
Yeah.
Because, and I know it's a fantasy because when I went and drank at that party for the first time with people I thought didn't like me, and I got a buzz on, all of a sudden I'm laughing and cutting up and hugging on these people, and we're having just the best freaking time. And for me, something was built, something was established in my mind that when I drink and I'm uncomfortable, then I can be comfortable. Right? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I relate.
So that was the first time I felt the effect produced by alcohol. I think later on, though, the effect was feeling part of, not just a buzz.
Right. And then?
Well, I mean, drinking was, okay, let me share this. If I ever walk into a place where people are gathered to talk about their problems when it comes to alcoholism or drug addiction, I'm going to identify as an alcoholic. Yeah. Right? That's just what I'll do.
Why is that?
It occurred to me early on because it doesn't matter what I put into my body, it's why am I putting it there.
Yeah.
Right? For me, I had the hardest time understanding I had an issue. No blackouts, no DUIs. Right? I probably had a couple blackouts, but no DUIs. Right?
None that you could remember.
Exactly. Well, I think that's the common tell
Amnesia.
of a that's the common tell of a blackout, right?
Yeah.
So I can firmly say I had no blackouts. No DUIs, and then I didn't have the alcoholic starter kit. No trench coats were in my closet. I had no brown paper bags that I carried bottles around in, and I certainly didn't live
That's
underneath the bridge.
how we view the alcoholic.
Oh yeah, I didn't live under a bridge yet.
Yeah,
it was only a matter of time for that one.
It was going to happen within time.
I got close.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any of those kind of issues. I had what some people might consider an element of control. When I got in my 20s, and I never drank without the intent to get drunk.
Yeah.
Right. I couldn't both control and enjoy my drinking at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. It was either one. It was one or the other. But I would control it. I would say, okay, well, I'm just going to drink on Saturdays.
Yeah.
As long as I just drink on Saturday, and I did fine with that. What I neglected to understand was I was drinking an 18-pack of Tall Boy Coors Light in 4 hours on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So I was hammered, but I felt like I was doing something good. So fast forward a bit and get into pills, opiates become a thing. I start going doctor shopping, get, tons and tons of medication that I had no business getting.
What made you get into the pills? Was it like the 80s, the Oxy 80s and things like that?
I started off with Lortabs. Like just a little small stuff at a party. People were like, hey, you want to take one? And the ironic thing is, for me, is that my cousin had taken a lot of pills, and I'd watched the decline of his, life.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to the depths that he would eventually go, or neither that I would eventually go to.
Yes.
But I'd watch him, and I'd say, man, he's a fucking loser.
Yeah.
He's a loser. I
won't be like that.
Yeah, I'll never be like that. And lo and behold, I went deeper. But that's neither here nor there at this point in time. But it was just hey, man, why don't you take one of these? Finally, I did. It may have been even like I had an injury. I don't know what it was, what convinced me to just do it. But then when I did, I was like, oh, this is what he's on to something, right?
Yes.
This guy's smart. He's not a loser. He knows something I don't. I could drink less. I could get a bigger effect out of drinking less. And I was like, this is perfect. I can even get behind the wheel and drive and not get a DUI. Not, back then it was mainly breathalyzers in my mind.
Yeah.
So that went fine for a period of time, and like I said, I got prescribed quite a bit of medication for a fake injury. I faked.
When you say doctor shopping, were you going to more than one doctor?
I did for a bit until they established some kind of software platform that could tell the doctors if I'd been somewhere else, and then I got busted.
Yeah.
Then I had to go find another doctor.
Okay.
And then I'd make up some lie why I, blah blah blah. And I just don't think the doctors cared either. They were making a ton of money at the time.
Yeah.
Let's be clear, not everybody that's a doctor is out there looking out for your best interests.
No.
Just like not everybody that's a priest is out there looking for your best interests either. So
right.
There's bad people in every profession. So that's neither here nor there. I took the pills. I went in there and conned them out of them, or at least in my mind, I felt like the king because I was conning them out of them. They might have been giving them to me freely if I could have just sat there and said nothing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, like I was getting all these things prescribed. I had 3 false workers' comp claims during that time. I probably embezzled over $200,000 in workers' comp money that I had no injury whatsoever. Because after the first one, I'm a quick learning addict, right? I learned after the first one I can do this and not really be hurt and get a payout. So I did it again. And then after the second one worked so good, I was like, oh shit, I could use another $60K right now. And $60K is a ton of money when you don't have anything. You know? And I went through it within like a week, 2 weeks. It was super fast.
Blew through it.
Oh, yeah, like an idiot. Anyway, by that time, it had progressed into heroin. That was eventually where my story would go. And
this is back in Georgia.
Yeah, and I didn't get started with pills now until I was 30. I'm 44 today.
Yeah.
I got started late, right, in my mind.
Late bloomer.
Oh, yeah, big time.
With the pills, drinking was early.
Yeah, but again, I honestly say like between 25 and 30, I had a pretty good handle on life. I had money in the savings account.
Yeah,
I mean,
you weren't tanking.
I wasn't rip roaring.
Yeah,
you know. But when heroin got involved, man, it went down quick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, quick. And
what were you just smoking the heroin?
I tried that, and I tried to snort it.
And then would you move on to shooting it?
Oh, yeah. So the guy, I didn't know where to get this shit, you know, and I had a guy that I was getting a couple of 15s from. Yeah. He went to a doctor too, and I'd run out. I was a horrible drug dealer, by the way. I would get, like, say, 180 blues.
Yeah.
And these are legit blues from the pharmacy. You know, I'd get 180 of them.
These were the M30s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is back when you could still experiment a little
bit and not
die, you know?
Yeah.
And I'd go down the street to this lady that I knew would buy them for $20 a piece. I might sell her 50 of them for $20. So I've got like $1,000, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I'm kingpin at that point. I got $1,000 in my pocket. What? You can't tell me nothing, you know? And a week and a half later, I'm back buying them for $30 a piece. So I found out I'm a horrible drug dealer. I don't do good math when I'm loaded.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I got kicked out of the doctor, and I had to get something. And this guy that had these 15s said, "Hey, I can get you heroin." I was like, I always said I'd never do that, you know.
Yeah.
But here I am, sick, and I'm desperate, you know.
Anything that'll make the sickness go away.
Yeah, the sickness, and not even like just the sickness, to make the voices go away. You know, all the voices at this point were loud.
Were you still active with your family at this time? Parents?
No. I mean, like,
you'd already moved on,
and they had no idea that it was getting as bad as it was. But until I found a path to recovery, I didn't have a relationship with my parents.
Okay.
I always thought I did. Right.
Yeah. You just weren't well.
I always thought the relationship that we had was normal. Well, neither were they.
Yeah.
You know, let's be clear. It wasn't one side or the other. One well person can heal a relationship, but two sick people can't make one work. You know,
you're right.
Which is, you know, also part of my story when it comes to women. You know,
I understand.
Two
completely.
sick people can't make it work. So the heroin gets introduced me in, and I'm sitting there watching this guy. He brought me, and I'd been snorting it, and I was with my wife at the time. I was married.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there. She was in the back seat. He was in the passenger seat, and I was in the driver's seat. And we were in my mom's Mercury Villager. It's shaped like a doorstop. It's a van, all right? And I'm snorting it, man, and I don't feel nothing. I'm pissed off. I'm not sick, but I'm not getting loaded, you know?
Yeah.
And I watch him shoot up. Excuse me. And he just melted. And I was like, ooh, that's what I want right there. And I said, how do I get that? He said, well, you gotta shoot it up. You know, you shoot it up, you'll get it. And I was like, do it, man. I just
weren't even afraid.
I said, show me.
Let's do it.
And after that point, I sat there in that van, and I remember the exact time of day. I remember where we were at. I remember what we were doing right after. And I sat there, and he had taken off, and my wife was in the front seat. And I said, I want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to feel this way forever. And I set out to do that to the best of my ability, and the rest of my life ended up, you know, ending several times during that process. It wasn't healthy at all.
How many years did you end up doing it for?
You know, overall, I'd say probably 6 years, 7 years. But let's be clear, like when I started it, things were, manageable. We could have turned some things around, but when we started doing that, man, it was a straight train wreck falling off a cliff. It was insane. Within probably a year and a half, I'd been into there's a government funded detox. They call it a detox. It's really a mental institution. In Brunswick, Georgia. I've been in and out of there probably 15 times.
Did they really detox people?
No, they give you a bucket and a bed and say best of luck to you.
So there's not like a medical detox with medications and doctors and nurses and all that?
And the doors only open one way, and they don't open when you want them to.
That's a mental health.
Yeah. And they tell you that when you come in there, like, we'll help you with this, you know. And like if you were doing alcohol, they'd probably give you stuff for that, you know. But they said, we're a mental institution first and foremost. We're detox second, you know. But I went in and out, and I learned how to play the game. And I ended up losing any sense of shelter. So I'd sleep behind a goat pen behind the detox. They allowed me to put my bin of clothes in their shed out back. And I was like, well, they can't take me today. I'll just come back tomorrow. Well, lo and behold, I conned up $100 the next day. I'm not coming back to detox. I got $100, you know?
Yeah.
So I'd go buy a bag of dope and sleep in the woods. And it was January 2019. It was cold. Oh, so cold. And I was starting little fires about every 2 or 3 hours and just warming up and falling back asleep, you know, wearing 3 or 4 hoodies, 3 or 4 pairs of sweatpants, sleeping on a piece of cardboard behind a goat pen. You can hear that. You hear the goats over there getting at it and stuff at night. It was crazy, man. And one day I'd had enough. Actually, I'm not even going to say that. That's not true. I didn't have enough. One day I just got tired of sleeping outside, and I said, I'm going to go get a hot meal and a shower. And I went into that detox place, man, and I don't know what happened, but I had the luxury of somebody saying, hey, you can come here for free on a scholarship. So I went, and I remember that when they told me that, I cried. Internally, I was broken, right, and done. Mentally, I felt like I could still figure a way to rig this game to suit me, right? Mm-hmm. I went to that place twice before I ended up moving to California. So between 2019 and 2020, November 20th, 2020, I went to that place twice. It's 6 months at a time. I went 6 months one time. I went 4.5 months the second time. During that time, my dad, who had been very supportive and trying to help me to the best of his ability, but I was just tearing him down into the ground.
Yeah.
That passed away.
Dad did?
Yeah. February 2020, he passed away. And not long after that, I went in a deep downhill spiral, went to jail. I got out of jail, went back to treatment within 3 or 4 days, and then moved out here.
Treatment out there, them places.
Yeah, they're like 50-acre pine tree farms. It's a place called Bridges of Hope.
Yeah.
Beautiful place, amazing place. They got 4 or 5 of them, 3 or 4 for men and then 1 for women. Beautiful place, though, and it's you get out of it what you put into it, just like anything else in this world. Anyway, I moved out here to California, man, and yeah, like I told you before we got started, man, I got a job in sober living at 4.5 months sober, and I was going to be the king shit in a room full of turds, and I thought I was that, right? And I started just I quit doing AA, I quit doing anything else.
Yeah.
And I was just white knuckling sobriety, and it lasted until it didn't, right?
What took you out of that position?
They don't like it when you're doing heroin and managing a sober living.
Well, no, I ended up relapsing. Managers, huh?
Nah, so I kind of, but I ended up relapsing, and I stole from clients. I'd done all kind of dirty stuff I shouldn't have been doing, you know. Same Kris, no drugs, and just miserable. Got asked to leave the first sober living, went to another one. Hurt my shoulder working out, right? Went to the hospital, crying like a little baby at like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, trying to get seen. They came in and they said, we're going to give you some Dilaudid for the pain. And it was right on the tip of my tongue. Somebody had told me, like, if you ever start, you can't stop. Right?
Yeah.
A symptom of alcoholism. If you start, you can't stop. And it was right there, and I was like, I couldn't say, I can't take that. I should have said, no, thank you, I appreciate it, but I didn't.
Bring it
on. And they gave it to me, and I woke up the next day, and I said, man, I just slept better. In my mind, I was saying, I just slept better than I'd ever slept in my life. And within an hour, I was on a social media platform. I found something in L.A., and I was on the way from Irvine to L.A., and I copped, and even, it's weird, the delusion, all the way there, I'm telling myself, don't go, right? Yeah. Then I got another voice saying, well, now you've already called the guy, you've already like, I don't even know this cat, right? I don't even know this dude.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about disappointing him, right? So, no, you might as well go. You don't want to disappoint him. You done told him you were coming, and you know, just delusion. Lived in my car from July 2021 until January 3rd, 2022.
6 months.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, something like that. But it was rough. It was not a fun time. Again, more delusion though. I have a little BMW 3 Series. I was living in the front seat of that all the time.
That's tight.
Yeah, it's very tight. But in my mind, I was looking at the other cars of people that were sleeping in the Walmart parking lot, and I was like, I got a BMW, dude. I'm still killing it.
Yeah,
you know, I'm crushing life right now. You know,
that's delusional.
Yeah, that's super delusional. So January 3rd, 2022, I walked into detox, and I spent, I don't know, 10, 13 days in detox. I can't remember, but
that's out here in California.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an indigent place, or what?
No, I got some insurance through the marketplace and went. But yeah, man, I got a sponsor in detox. I got busy, and life's taken on new meaning for sure.
And you took it. What made you take it so serious this time?
December 3rd, 2021. I had a girlfriend that lived in Huntington Beach, and we had spent a lot of time together before I relapsed. And I don't know that she would ever say she knew, but I feel like she probably knew something was going on. My behavior certainly changed when I relapsed.
Yeah.
But she would let me stay at her house occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I didn't know is that the heroin out here, they call it tar, and it's got a lot of chemicals in it to mess your veins up pretty good, right? And I basically burnt through everything I could easily touch. And I started going in my neck, right? And I learned a valuable lesson about the difference between an artery and a vein at that point, because about 3 o'clock in the afternoon I was staying at her house. I went up to the grocery store. I went in the bathroom. I hit my vein. It was perfect. And I was like, I have just found a honey hole. I am good to go. And if anybody's ever shot it before, if you find the one that works, you're going to keep going right there. That's why people get these huge abscesses.
Yeah.
You know? And I thought that, I got it. This is perfect. I never have to worry about a vein again. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I was back at her house. She was asleep. I walked downstairs. I fixed up a shot. I came back up to the bathroom so I could see what I was doing, and I hit the artery. And I put a half a gram of heroin to my brain. I seized up. I died. And I came to on the floor, but my brain was cloudy. I couldn't see properly. My functions were off, but I was still trying to fight the firefighter. I thought they were cops, and I was trying to fight them.
Who called them?
She did. She woke up hearing my feet flap against the door because I was seizing on her floor.
You're almost dead.
Yeah. Well, they told me I did die. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right.
They brought you back from it.
It wasn't the first time. So when I came through from that one, the difference was every other time I'd overdosed, I thought I was invincible.
Yeah.
When this one happened, I was like, man, this has got to stop. I really won't make it the next time. So that was kind of the mentality that drove me in that direction. So, but yeah, man, life's been amazing. I got through the program of recovery. Within about 5 to 6 months, I started raising my hand. I picked up my first sponsor within a month or two after that, and my first sponsee.
Yeah.
Within a month or two after that, and I completely dove in.
Yeah. I think I first noticed you at some South County meetings, like over at the Saddleback Club.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then maybe like a couple CA meetings and things like that.
Yeah. I lived there, man.
Yeah, yeah. And you seemed active.
Yeah.
And maybe it was in your first year that I saw you.
Yeah.
And then I've seen you over the last...
It was my first year.
Yeah, almost the last 3 years. Every time I see you, you're always very welcoming, very, like, you greet me well. And I was like, okay.
So the guy that walked into the meetings is not the guy that you see today.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk to people, man.
No, I was the same way. I understand. I relate.
Yeah, my first commitment. So something happened. I can't tell you what it is, but I came to this realization that having an awareness about something is not enough. And now I define this psychic change that they talk about as when awareness meets action, right? That's for me. That's awareness meets action. And I was very aware that I was socially inept. Okay?
Yes.
So my first commitment was greeter.
Okay, which, somebody put you in that position to get you out. Like,
I took it. Nobody asked me.
Oh, you took it.
I was like, I want that one, and it was the best thing. And that ended up branching out.
What a humbling process on your own without even really having to.
It was just a blessing is what it was. I won't say that the whole experience in recovery was easy. Nothing in life ever is.
Yeah.
Nothing's stagnant in life. I've learned that, and it all goes up and down. And but the life that I have today, talking about the topic of manifestation, for instance, right, this is what I love about this manifestation and stuff like that. This is my learnings from my experience with it. I used to believe that manifestation was, I can see it, I can believe it, it's going to happen.
Yes.
Right. What I failed to realize is that the universe doesn't care about my insistence on how it happens.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, the more I insist, the more it resists, So my life today is more wonderful than I could have ever imagined. I have literally magic happens in my life every day because it's inexplicable to me. The majority of that comes from my letting go of the insistence on how it should happen. So I always knew I was going to be in a position to be able to help people. I got very passionate about that. And I always knew I was going to be in a position to be able to help people more than one-on-one. I knew that I was going to be in a position where I would have something to offer the world.
Knew when you were new or knew before?
I knew before. Like,
crazy that you say that. Because in all the years that I was using, which would be 18 years all put together, it was just various substances at different times.
Yeah.
Something within me always told me, this ain't supposed to be like this. You got to go do bigger and better things that are in the line of helping people.
Yeah.
It's just that I had this thing ingrained in me as if it was like a premeditated spiritual thought.
Yeah. And I think inherently in every human being, we all have that thing.
Yeah.
The difference is for me is those that have the courage to pursue without any intention on what happens.
Right.
So what I mean by that is, I'll give you an example if you don't mind.
Wow.
So, of course, with addiction and alcoholism comes the negative self-talk. As a result of negative self-talk, I have a negative sense of self, or some people call it a reduced sense of self-worth.
Sure.
Right?
Down on yourself.
Through doing a lot of work, I've been able to establish a much higher sense of self-worth than I maybe ever had in my entire life.
Yes.
Right? Where I inherently know my value to a core, to my core.
You've learned to believe in yourself 100%.
100%. Yeah. Like 100%. And more importantly, I've learned to believe in the things around me 100%. I've learned to believe that it's all in process. It's not just me. It's all happening.
Yeah.
So long story short, like, I have a friend of mine who's a mentor, and he helped me a lot with the self-worth aspect. And he's got an app that he developed a while back called The Gift. It's a self-worth app.
I know him.
Okay. You know Robert.
He's a good friend.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
So me and him worked together one-on-one quite a bit through some mentoring and coaching. I think it was Motive for Life and stuff like that. So he's got
I'm meeting with him in like a week or so.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah. So I figured you knew him.
Yeah.
There's a thing that's in that app called a personal success statement. Essentially what you'd want to do is you'd want to go through, and in the sense of manifestation, as I explained what I used to think it was, go through and put down what life looks like and do it in the present tense, right? Well, one of the things that I put down was that I make X amount of dollars per year and that my company values me, right? The company I was working for at the time, they value me, and that my company gives me that much money, right? That it comes from there. I had a very, very strict insistence that I'm going to make that X amount of dollars and it's going to come from that one place.
Right.
Well, you can imagine my surprise and frustration when I had a review and they didn't give me that, right? And that's when I started understanding that my insistence on how it comes dictates how and when it does come, right? Or if it even comes. So I rephrased it a little bit. I started doing it in a different manner, and started just saying, this is happening. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how it comes. Now it's way more than that, because I open myself to every possibility instead of one.
Oh, I love it.
You know? So manifestation has been a huge part. So the RPRD podcast, you kind of mentioned it a little bit.
What did RPRD stand for?
Recovery Principles, Recovery Disciplines.
Okay.
So we established a mission early on to be able to just help one person. That was our mission. It sounds simple, right? We just
as in, like, if out of all the people that might be listening, at least one person we're trying to help.
That's right. We just want to help one single person. If we can accomplish the goal, because again, when I started that, even I had a lower sense of self-worth than I do today. All right, and that's only been a year ago. Right? Yeah. So for me, that was a big goal. That was a big ask, just to think I could help help one person through my voice and speaking, even though I knew that it was something I dreamed of, right? So we accomplished that mission and then some, which has been a beautiful blessing. I've been so grateful to be a part of that.
Yes.
But RPRD podcast, Recovery Principles, Recovery Disciplines. One day, me and my sister were talking, and she was going through a weight loss journey. You remember I mentioned my family life before? It was always rolling around food and family that was together.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And some kind of correlation can be built there too, that food is comforting, right? Food is family, right? And
you're telling me.
Yeah. So we were talking about her little journey with her weight loss and food and stuff. And one day she asked me, she said, Kris, she's really proud of where I'm at today. And me and her have a relationship. Nice. We didn't talk for 5 or 6 years before I got sober this time. And even after I got sober, we didn't talk for a year and a half. we were able to be at my mother's bedside as she passed away and make difficult family decisions together, you know?
Your mom passed away too. Huh?
Yeah, in April of this year. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But it's been a blessing.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute blessing. And not to say that it's a blessing she's gone.
No, a blessing that you get to have a relationship with your sister.
It's insane how
That's
close
amazing.
we are. It's insane.
That's a manifestation within itself.
Yes, it is. And we were talking one day, though, and she said, Kris, how did you get to a point where you are at now? And I said, well, you know, you're going through your own thing with food. She said, yeah. And I said, do you remember the day that you looked in the mirror and you didn't like what you saw?
Yeah.
She said, yes, I do. And I said, do you remember the day that you looked in the mirror and you didn't like what you saw and you decided you wanted to do something different? And she said, yes. And I said, do you remember the day that you wanted to do something different and you decided you were going to follow someone else's direction? She said, yes. And I said, so what you're practicing is the principles that I learned in the recovery program in your life. Don't even know you're doing it. So it was important to bring those principles out into the light, because most people, even in the program of a 12-step program, don't know what the principles are.
You're right.
You know, so if we can live by these simple principles and practice these simple disciplines in our life every day, we're going to have a better life. It's just a matter of, can we do it? So again, the point, help one person, not be exclusive to people in 12-step programs, because someone that's not an alcoholic that suffers from a food addiction, for instance, they're going to be resistant to listening to me tell them to read this blue book.
Right.
You know, but if I tell them there's a few simple principles and disciplines you can practice in your life to obtain the same life I have today, they're more open. So that's where it was born from. Easier
way of becoming disciplined by just trying to do that, or at least something along the lines of that.
Yeah, for sure.
We have a lot of similarities. I admire when you first got here today. I was talking to you and I said, "Well, what's your day job?" Because I knew that was your podcast and all that, which is now transitioning into the Shuman Show. So, and you mentioned a name and who you work for and what you're doing and all that stuff. And I think to myself, you know, it doesn't happen for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't stay on the path of recovery that come into the path of recovery. Or some people have different versions of recovery. But I do believe when we tap into spirit, which is, you know, you can call it God, we can call it spirit of the universe, whatever, creative intelligence, all that stuff. It just seems like beautiful opportunities come into our path, which then even help enable us more to build on the manifestations. Because you said that you were a homeless man. Who would have thought that all that would have happened? Which there's a lot of beautiful things happening in your life. Yeah, you got a new relationship. Well, it's not new anymore, right? You've been there for a little while, right? But you got a good relationship, probably healthier than the other ones, because as you said, problems with ladies.
Healthiest relationship I've ever been in.
I'm in one too.
Let me tell you this, and you may have experienced this too. And if anybody's listening, I just want to help you. If you ever wonder if you have a healthy relationship, ask yourself how comfortable you are in it. Because if you're used to being in unhealthy relationships and you get in a healthy one, it feels super weird. Yeah. It feels super weird.
Because you're used to the shit.
Yeah.
The shit show.
The first day I understood that this woman doesn't need me in her life, she wants me in her life. Yeah. I felt super uncomfortable. Yeah. But I also felt very blessed, and it almost brought me to tears, because here it is, something I've been looking for all my life is in front of me. Right. This person wants me here. They don't need me here. And I can reciprocate that, because I understand I don't need anybody but Kris. Right. I want people in my life today.
And God provides. He puts the right one in at the right time for us to be able. We just need to make sure that we're recognizing
I'm sure. And that's another thing. You were talking about the opportunities. Man, my life's been blessed with an abundance of opportunities in recovery. But I have to ask myself, how many times did opportunities were they put in front of me before recovery that I just ignored?
Pushed away.
Because I have an insistence on how life should be.
Well, they say when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. Yeah. You know how many times the teacher was already there?
Yeah, exactly. It's trippy,
exactly
man.
What you're saying. So, okay, now, and it was really interesting to say how you weren't as confident about yourself when you first started the podcast, which was a year ago.
It's hilarious, man. If you go back and look at some of our first episodes, because we did video and audio too, and we have a thing on YouTube. If you went back, my legs were just going like this, and I'm super nervous, but I'm just doing it, right? Yeah. That's just I was scared to death.
Did you kind of fit into the groove over a period of time, become more comfortable with it?
Yeah, and
because that's what happened with me here.
Yeah,
I bring on guests sometimes, and when they're here, they see all these cameras. And they get nervous. I'm like, first of all, it's not live anymore. Yeah. It used to be. Yeah. Lots of technical difficulties. But then I say, listen, forget about these cameras. We're here as two friends just talking. Yeah. Shooting the shit. It was very recovery based. Now you're going in a whole different direction, which I am actually doing with ours too. Primary purpose. This is the first episode. Your new show is going to be called
It's the Shuman Show.
And what is this going to be about?
So the Shuman Show is going to be talking to experts in their field, celebrities, even ordinary people, and just answering the questions about life that we all have, An example. Do you mind?
I don't mind.
So this is something that we've already talked about with a guest already, and this is just an example of how my mind works, okay? We talked about this a bit before we got started today. Yeah. Coming into recovery, I had no idea who I am. I have a complete crisis of identity. No clue who I am. I get sober and I work a program of action, and now I'm recovered, and then that can become my entire identity too. And that's another identity, but I can get completely into that and say I am a recovered person, and my whole identity.
Or you can even get lost in that.
And lost in that, exactly. What I'm learning to do and where I'm going now is the fact that, no, Kris is a beautiful person in his own right. He's capable. He's got skills. He can do things. He can help people. He can, provide for a family. He can do all these things.
Yeah.
Recovered is just part of Kris. It's not Kris.
Right.
So that's why the Shuman Show is born. An example of what we would talk about, and this is just hypothetical because I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But I have a good friend I told you about earlier. His name's Jake Jensen. He's an actor. He was he was a college athlete. He's a sports psychologist, which is trippy. Let's say he's on the show, right? The things I want to know about are this. I was watching last night, and go Dogs, first of all. Texas and Georgia played last night, and Georgia was just given no chance at all to succeed in this game. Okay, everybody said Texas is going to blow them out of the water. Texas was number 1. Georgia was number 5. Georgia went down to Texas and whooped some butt last night, right? So there's two sides to this coin, talking about psychology, because psychology does fascinate me. But when you're discussing sports psychology specifically, now you got a team that's an underdog, right? Where does the psychology come in to help them go into a hostile environment and not only win, but to dominate? And then on the opposite side of that coin, you got this other team that's the number 1 team in the country. You got a quarterback that's been just killing life, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's holding him up on a pedestal, right?
Yeah.
How does he deal with this and then bounce back next week? So that's kind of the top. I want to know that. And from a sports psychologist point of view, I'd like to hear and have conversations like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So when does it take off?
So we're going to start recording January of next year. They're going to be, with RPRD, we had a little bit of a backlog. We booked out a ton of recordings with guests. Not every episode of the Shuman Show will necessarily have a guest. It may just be me.
It might just be you talking.
Yeah, me and the edit. Edits is what we call him. His name's Matt. He's our AV guy. Okay. It might just be us talking about interesting topics or things going on in the world.
And how will people be able to find it? Will it be on radio? Will it be on podcast platforms? What?
It's really cool, man.
It's not video, right?
It will have video.
It will have video.
Yeah, it won't. So this is going to be the coolest part for me, right? We have an agent now. He's an amazing guy. He's helping us out hugely. And he's got us put on Power 98.5 radio out of New York and London. And we're going to be broadcasting over 200 countries on satellite radio, which is really exciting. And then in addition to that, we'll be publishing our content on hosting platforms. So we don't know that we're going to go on every one, right? You don't have Louis Vuitton in every Target. You know what I mean? And we don't want to cheapen the value of what we offer.
Yeah.
So it will be more exclusive, and we're looking to sign exclusive content deals with certain platforms. But we'll see how that goes,
Just listening to that within itself, and what you had said earlier about how you weren't so confident or believe in yourself as much in the first year. It's only been a year.
Yeah.
It's only been a year since you had your last podcast. The way you speak right now is there's so much confidence because you believe in yourself.
I know it.
Which is a manifestation within itself.
Yeah.
Constantly manifesting.
Yeah.
I dated this girl one time that told me she was talking about the human design.
Yeah.
And she said, well, you're a generator, I think. I'm like, what the hell is all this mean? She came at me and told me all this stuff, manifestations and how you're always manifesting. I was like, okay, well, whoa, I am. And I didn't even know I was manifesting. Yeah. Like by staying on the path of recovery, the manifestations just keep growing and growing. It's new opportunities. There's never a dull moment.
Never.
And
have you ever seen the Matrix Part 2?
Yes.
The second one, right?
Yes.
And so this is manifestation. This is the universe. This is the mind. This is all of this stuff.
Yes.
Encompassed to me, right? not the Matrix, this part. So in the Matrix Part 2, they have the key maker, right?
Yeah.
They find this guy, the key maker. And eventually towards the end, they get into a place where they're in a hallway full of doors. It's just a white hallway. It's very nonchalant. It's very bland. There's nothing there but just a bunch of doors. And they're running through this. And every time the key maker gets to a door, he doesn't ever fumble for keys. The one key he has in his hand is for that one door.
Right.
Right. So the idea there is, I have the key to every single door in that hallway. Behind every single door in that hallway is everything I ever dreamed of, hoped for, or wished for. All right. So it's already in the room. As soon as I can believe that it's real, the key appears, I put it in and turn it. Right. And that's how it works.
That's exactly
I never have to fumble for the key. I have one single key.
And it
it'll
fits
work. Every single door. I just have to believe that what's behind it is mine. Insert key, open door.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's manifestation to me.
It's my type of conversation right now.
Yeah, I know, right? It's fun stuff, dude. But it's true. And like people think it's hippy dippy shit, and it might be, but I don't care.
Right.
It works.
Oh, it's beautiful. Love to hear this stuff. Okay, well, I mean, since this is the first episode, and obviously it's just taking off, I really enjoyed my conversations with you.
Me too, man.
I would like to bring you again in the future.
Absolutely.
Because we're going to be doing a lot of stuff with this. I appreciate you coming out today.
For sure, man. And thank you for having me.
Thank you.
It's been great. I've enjoyed getting to know you better too.
Hell
So
yeah. I think just through this interview within itself.
Yeah.
Right. This is the Primary Purpose Podcast with Pej. I'm your host. If you would please subscribe, please share everywhere, like it, and we'd love to hear about you in the comments, whatever you think, whatever you got going on, until we meet again.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Thank you, brother.
Take care.